Remember the first Avengers? Sure, for something now unbelievably 6 years old, maybe the CGI is a little dated, but it was a good time, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe has always wanted to be fun, after all. But the Avengers, at the altar of fun, sacrifices damn near everything. The Avengers just doesn't trust audiences to be able to have that fun by way of watching its characters interact, or its plot advance, or its special effects go boom. So it offers up all of these things in exchange for a distillation of high-energy editing techniques and easy-to-understand camera moves in the hopes of maximizing its fun factor. The resulting product is dumb, but not just dumb in what it thinks of its audiences. The Avengers is dumb in what it reveals about larger blockbuster culture. It reveals a culture that is less and less interested in making smart decisions about the production of dumb movies in the name of making money. Let's start with the action scene, the quintessential Marvel moment. Why don't we watch one?
I'm on it.
Everyone, clear out!
And before you start wondering if this is going to be another chaos cinema criticism, it's not. Yes, The Avengers, like many films since the new millennium, was shot in what we now call the chaos cinema style, and opts for a sense of what film scholar David Bordwell termed intensified continuity, which is essentially loads of quick cuts, close-ups, and exaggerated shooting, editing, and staging. But it can work well enough for a sequence like this. Looking at Loki in Germany here, we have what isn't on its own a particularly enthralling moment. Loki enters a gala, knocks a guy down with a cane, and slams another on a piece of rock. That's it. No fancy effects or choreography. But the quick cuts and close-up shots give what might otherwise be a less frenetic scene an added intensity, if one coming at the relative cost of coherence. The problem with the Avengers, though, is that not only are there loads of moments like this, but the biggest, baddest, and most insane scenes of the film are shot like it as well. Take the climax of the film, the Battle of New York. Tons of superheroes on screen, a huge monster rampaging through the streets, explosions, screaming innocence, the whole shebang. Instead of relying on the spectacle of the scene itself to engage, the movie doesn't trust its viewers to have fun on their own, so it tries to compound a sense of energy and intensity with the same chaotic style of shooting. The net result is moments that could conceivably benefit from such a staging are all too frequent, so they lose any would-be gain, and moments that should already be engaging enough on their own are shot like this, then lose their original entertainment value. Moment to moment, everything ends up feeling the same. Even if a lot of the movie is one long action scene, much of it isn't. Let's go back to Loki in Germany. About a minute before the action picked up, every scene in the Avengers can be visually broken down into 3 modes. Chaos cinema, short, slow, and ambivalent pans, and shot, reverse shot conversations, like you can see here. In the Loki in Germany scene, before the chaos cinema bit, we've got a long series of these short pans. Now, like the chaotic editing, both these pans and the shot, reverse shot conversations can work for a movie like this. The Avengers is a thick piece of fantasy with heavy ancillary lore and tons of callbacks to the comics of previous films. Essentially, there's a lot going on, especially for viewers not familiar with the original comics or even other films. So, occasional expository pans to take in the action and clear, concise conversation help anchor the viewer could be useful. They could be useful when employed amidst other camera and editing techniques and not inconsistent, unbroken series. But that's all there is. The Avengers not only sacrifices a varied palette of more engaging camera moves and editing styles in lieu of these 3 basic means of presenting the action on screen, but if these moves and camera styles art paired with very basic exposition and simple conversation. And even if everybody's okay with lower key moments being visually uninspired, they actually take away from the larger suspense and pacing of the movie. Whenever the cuts are quick, the shots close up and everything overwhelming, the viewer knows he or she is in for nothing but action. When the pans are slow and the characters are talking, the viewer knows nothing particularly dynamic is going to happen. There can be no surprises because of how limited the range is of on-screen visual presentation. Essentially, The Avengers is a film built on solid ideas. Regardless of what it says about the viewer or cinema at large, chaos editing can work. Simple camera work can pair well with awesome spectacle and convoluted stories. The resulting product wouldn't be critically lauded avant-garde brilliance, but everything has to be. The problem is that The Avengers, like many Marvel films since, isn't interested in using its own good ideas to the best of its ability. It isn't interested in endearing as many critics and viewers as it can to it. It isn't even interested in being the best version of itself as a huge blockbuster film it could be and making the most money possible. It is simply content to exist and rake what it can in. If critics are going to continue to blame blockbuster cinema for damn near stealing the money out of our wallets, so be it. But we, at the very least, deserve a better class of criminal.
All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him. And I thought my jokes were bad.